Hello and welcome to a video which is a lot different from our usual ones. In this one we are going to be reading the Russian sleep experiment, which I have never heard before and Kai has, and as you can guess I'm with Kai. I have just eaten my tea, so if there's too much going on I'll probably end up being sick. And you're probably going to laugh at me falling backwards off my chair.
I know I will. 1 second, I need to charge my laptop.
I'm going to take off my glasses so I can read.
Okay. Are you doing this on your tablet?
Yeah.
Your stiletto tabletto?
Shut up. Samsung tab. Right, Kai can start. Go.
Snap! Oh, you go first. I went first last time.
Yeah. Russian researchers in the late 1940s. Oh, just to say, this is on Creepypasta. So we're going to be doing a series of reading creepypastas.
Creepypasta.com, or if you're mobile, it's creepypasta.wiki.com.
Okay, right. Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas-based stimulator. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake so the gas didn't kill them, since it was very toxic in high concentrations. This was before closed-circuit cameras, so they had only microphones and 5-inch thick glass bottles.
You know you said you don't want to puke? Yeah? There's part here where it says...
Don't spoil it.
Box part and smeared page after page of their own shit and pasted it on the glass.
That's just funny. No. Right, let me carry on.
Funny. Your face is funny.
Into the chamber to monitor them. The chamber was stocked with books, cots to sleep on, but no bedding, running water and toilet. And toilet, it literally says and toilet.
It's the toilet, it doesn't say a toilet, it says toilet.
But enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. Test subjects were political prisoners deemed enemies of the state during World War II.
Hey, that's supposed to be my bit. You read the next bit.
Yes, because I'm not letting you have a tiny line. Go.
You get the bit that says after 5 days. Everything was fine for the first 5 days. The subjects hardly complained, having been promised falsely that they would be freed if they submitted to the test, and did not sleep for 30 days. The conversations and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past, and the general tone of their conversations took a darker aspect after the 4-day mark.
After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were, and started to demonstrate severe paranoia. They stopped talking to each other and began alternately whispering to the microphones and one-way mirrored portholes. Oddly, they all seemed to think they would win the trust of the experimenters by turning over their comrades. The other subjects in captivity with them, at first the researchers suspected that there was an effect on the gas itself.
After 9 days, the first of them started to scream. He ran the length of the chamber, repeatedly yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. He continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks. The researchers postulated that he had physically torn his vocal cords. Sounds painful. The most surprising thing about this behaviour is how the other captives reacted to it, or rather didn't react to it. They continued whispering through the microphones until the second of the captives started screaming. Sorry, I thought the thing had gone. The 2 non-screaming captives took the books apart, smeared page after page of their own feces, and pasted them calmly over a glass bottle. The screaming promptly stopped. So did the whispering to the microphones.
After 3 more days passed, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it's impossible that no sounds should be coming with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of 5 people would consume a very heavy level of strenuous. I don't know how to pronounce that. That word will appear on the screen now.
So.
Exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something they said they would not do to get a reaction from their captives. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the captives they were afraid were either dead or vegetable. What vegetables? Kai?
Yeah?
They were afraid were either dead or vegetables.
1 second. 1 second. Sister, where are we up to?
Right, that's the end of my paragraph that I was just reading.
They announced we are going to open the chamber to test for microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of your immediate freedom. To their surprise, they heard a single phrase in a calm voice response. We no longer want to be freed.
Debate broke out among the researchers and military forces funding the research. Unable to provoke any more response using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day.
The chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air, and immediately voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging, as if pleading for the life of loved ones, to turn the gas back on. The chamber was open and the soldiers sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder and louder than ever. So did the soldiers when they saw what was inside. 4 of the subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call the state of any of them life. Go on.
You can see my face cam right now.
I can't see it now.
Ew. The food rations past day 5 had not been so much as touched. There were chunks of meat from the dead test subjects' thighs and chest stuffed into the drain at the centre of the chamber, blocking the drain and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate the floor. Blocking how much of the water on the floor was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of flesh and exposed bone of their fingertips indicated that the bodies
wounds.
I've lost where I am.
Exposed bone on my fingertips.
Torn away from their bodies. Destruction of flesh and exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were inflicted by hand, not with teeth, as the researchers initially thought. Close examination of the position and angles of the wounds indicated that most, if not all of them, were not self-inflicted.
The abdominal organs below the ribcage of all 4 subjects had been removed, while the heart, lungs and diaphragm remained in place. The skin and most of the muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the ribcage. The all the blood vessels and organs remained intact. They had just been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the eviscerated but still living bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen working, digesting food. It quickly became apparent that what they were digesting was their own flesh that they had ripped off, eaten over the course of days.
Most of the soldiers were Russian special operatives at the facility, but still many refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subjects. They continued to scream to be left in the chamber and alternatively begged and demanded that the gas be turned on, lest they fall asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chambers. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out. Another was greatly injured by having Ew.
Oh.
Read the next line. Kai, you might want to say that line whilst I stop laughing.
I can't stop laughing. Another was gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off and an artery in his leg severed by one of the subject's teeth. Ew! He bit off one of the soldier's testicles. Sorry, don't say testicles, say testicles.
How's that any better? Right.
Basically, one of the people bit a soldier's testicles off.
Ew.
No more babies! Go on, carry on.
Okay. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen
No, you
ruptured.
missed a bit. Another 5 of the soldiers
Lost their lives if you count ones that committed suicide in the weeks following the incident.
They used guts, just...
Right, I've lost where I am.
In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured, and he bled out almost immediately. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the human dose of a morphine derivative, and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the ribs and arm of one doctor. When heart was seen to beat for a full 2 minutes after he had bled to the point where there was more blood, there was more air in his vascular system than blood.
Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and flail for another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach, and just repeating the word "more" over and over, weaker and weaker, till he finally fell silent.
Look at the next paragraph because it's short.
Silence.
Silence, doctor.
Silence.
No. Go.
The
How?
second survivor. Wait, where am I? I've lost. Sorry.
So that's 3 test subjects.
The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility. The 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for the gas, demanding to be kept awake.
Oh yeah, because the gas that keeps them awake, not them. The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs placed back within his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given him to prepare him for the surgery. He fought ferociously against his restraints when the anaesthetic gas was brought out to put him under. He managed to tear most of the way through a 4-inch wide leather strap on one wrist, even through the weight of a 200-pound soldier holding that wrist as well.
He is the Hulk.
It took only a little anaesthetic than normal to put him under, and his constant eyelids fluttered and closed. His heart stopped in the autopsy of the test subject that died on the operating table. It was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. His muscles that were still attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in his struggle, not to be subdued. Most of them were from the force of his own muscles had exerted on them.
Ew! Let me say first, the second survivor had been the first of the group of 5 to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed, he was unable to beg or object to surgery, and only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anaesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his head yes when someone suggested reluctantly that he try surgery without anaesthetic, and did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing the abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remained of his skin. The surgeon presiding stated repeatedly that it should be medically possible for the patient to still be alive. One terrified nurse assisted the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a style several times whenever his eyes met hers. Pedo. That is just weird.
The surgery ended The subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk while struggling. Assuming this must be something of a drastic importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so a patient could write his message. It was simple, keep cutting. You're not sleeping tonight.
Ew! The other 2 test subjects were given the same surgery, both without anaesthetic as well, although they had to be injected with a paralytic for the duration of the operation. Sorry about that. Sorry, I moved. I've lost where I was up to. Can you carry on?
The surgeon found it impossible to perform the operation. Our patients laughed continuously. Go on.
Where?
Once paralysed,
I'm still looking. You might want to carry on.
Once paralysed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared the system with an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for a stimulant gas. Keep going.
I don't know where we are. Can you just carry on?
They started asking as they had injured themselves, asking why they had injured themselves, why they had ripped out their own guts, and why they wanted to be given the gas again. That's the end of the paragraph. You keep going.
Oh, only one response was given: I must remain awake. All 3 subjects' restraints were reinforced and they were placed back into the chamber awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, an ex-KGB, instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected but were overhauled.
Overruled. Go on.
You read the last 3 paragraphs after I've read this then. In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected. No! I accidentally pressed the back button!
Yeah.
You just carry on then. No, never mind,
No.
I got it. To everyone's surprise, were connected to an EEG monitor and had restraints padded for long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all 3 stopped struggling the moment it was let slip that they were going back up the gas. It was obvious that at this point all 3 were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute subject was straining his legs against the leather bonds with all his might. First left, then right, then left, and blinking, and again, there's something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his head off his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired to the EEG, most of the researchers were monitoring his brainwaves in surprise. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlined inexplicably. It looks as if he were repeatedly suffering brain death before returning to normal. As they focused on paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw his eyes slip shut at the same moment his head hit the pillow. The brainwaves immediately changed to that of deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time and his heartbeat was stopped. I'm losing my voice, so Kai's got to finish.
The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. The dreamwave showed the same flat lines as one who had just died from falling asleep.
Ew.
The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside as well as 3 researchers. One of the named 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between the eyes. He then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as well. He pointed the gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to a bed, as the remaining members of the medical and research team fled the room. I won't be locked in here with these things, not with you. He screamed at a man strapped to the table. What are you? He demanded. I must know. The subject smiled. Go on. That's 2 paragraphs.
I've lost my voice now.
Let's keep going.
Okay, right. I'm going to turn my light on quickly whilst you carry on, please. No one can
Hey,
see.
got it immediately. The subject asked. Well, you We have a madness that lurks within you all, ready to be free at any moment. In your deepest animal mind, we are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread. The researcher paused and aimed at the subject's heart and fired. The EEG flatlined and as the subject weakly choked out, "So nearly free."
Okay, that was pretty scary, and anyone who watched my face cam will basically just see my face like this for the entire video.
I can't see it.
Well, this.
Right, turn off the face cam and show me what you're doing with your face.
In a minute. So that's a goodbye from us, and we will be recording the next one shortly after we've recorded this, like the same day. Because it's getting late at night, so it's only near 9, but hey, it's as late as we're going to be allowed to record, so see ya.
It's nearly 7, so should we do one more?
See ya.
Bye.